Okay, sit yourself onto your left and then come into a good cross-legged position. So a good cross-legged position, as opposed to just a cross-legged position, is one where you consciously observe the balance of the seat bones. So just feel as you sit that you're reading the seat bones. That you're using your seat bones a little bit like a scanner, but just for the balance around the seat bones, just listen to the breath. Focus on long, slow, deep pranic inhalations and exhalations. So pranic breaths are in the lungs, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Empty it from the top to the bottom. Look at something that doesn't move. Just go back to the balance of the seat bones after a little while. Just observe if your seat bones are genuinely aligned. And then bring your hands into Namaste. Push the palms gently together. Lengthen the armpits into the elbows. Squeeze the elbows into the heels of the hands into the fingertips. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Take some conscious breaths into the abdomen, letting the abdomen become the center of the breath. So as you inhale, allow the abdomen to expand. As you exhale, allow the abdomen to draw towards the spine. So a samanic breath. Drawing the breath into the abdomen draws your attention into your energy. So consciously allowing the abdomen to expand outwards with the in-breath, which is the body's natural way of accommodating the breath. And drawing the abdomen towards the spine, which again is the body's natural way of accommodating the exhalation. So just really consciously drawing your attention down into the abdominal region. So this is the samanic breath. You've got the apana at the base of the spine, at the perineum, the samana at the navel, the prana at the lungs, and the udana at the sinuses. So we're focusing on the samanic breath. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet the chest, maintaining that somatic breath. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area as you release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. Just continuing to focus on that somatic breath. And with an out breath, raise your head and allow your eyes to gently close. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders consciously down away from your ears. So just have your hand on your abdomen and consciously allow it to bulge with the in-breath and draw towards the spine with the out-breath. Now, a lot of us have a bit of an odd relationship with the abdomen. And so maybe bulging the abdomen is a culturally unnatural thing for us to do, but it's actually really valuable action. So allow the abdomen to bulge. Allow the abdomen to draw back to the spine with the out-breath. Just hold on to both knees again, lift up into the chest, continuing that somatic inhalation and exhalation. Take a deep somatic inhalation and then with the exhalation turn to the right, continuing that abdominal breath. As you turn, observe your balance. Observe the balance of the seat bones and correct it if it feels unlevel, if the seat bones feel unlevel. Maintaining that somatic breath, abdominal breathing. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Take a deep somatic inhalation and then turn to the left. Maintaining that abdominal breathing. Observing the balance of the seat bones, correcting the balance if it feels unbalanced. And then come back to the center. Hold on to the knees, lift the heart area upwards, maintain the somatic breath. So somatic is not to be confused with shamanic. We're not summoning shamans, so don't worry about that. It's just a normal breath, but it's just called the somatic breath, not shamanic. Come off the lift, sit back on your heels. Sit back on your heels, big toes together, your knees apart. Just again, consciously breathing into the abdomen. Abdominal breath. Lift up into the chest. If there's difficulty with your back, then you can use a bolster to come forwards. Otherwise, keep the seat bones down in contact with the heels and come forwards, maintaining that somatic breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation. Now, it's more difficult to breathe abdominally when you're in Adho Mukha, especially when you bring your head to the floor. Just see if you can make that space. So you make the space by activating the arms, by pressing the seat bones down onto the heels, by lifting the chest. So if you want a block under your head to accommodate that somatic breath, then use that. Otherwise, feel how the body just needs to adjust a little to accommodate the breath. The somatic breath puts us in contact with our energy really successfully. It allows the body to gather energy from the breath. It allows us to unconsciously take deeper inhalations, more supported exhalations. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Continuing the somatic breath. So allow the body to commit to the somatic breath. Concentrate on the out breath as much as the in breath. So continuing to action the pose as you would typically. With a focus on the abdominal breathing. From holding in the pose for too long, then you can rest, but otherwise stay and maintain. Observe what happens when you focus on abdominal breathing. Observe what happens to your energy. Okay, step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position. Have a couple of blocks for your hands. And then bring your feet as wide apart as your mat. So feel that the heels touch the edge of the mat. Look down, make sure that your toes are in line with each other. Heels on the edge of the mat, toes on the edge of the mat, little toes on the edge of the mat. Activate your tadasana legs, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards and corkscrew the legs down to the heels. At the same time, push the inner knees away from each other, which feels a little counteractive in relation to that corkscrew action. And lift the inner knees up towards the inner groins. And then find that maybe you can corkscrew the legs even more. All of this gives you space in the hips. Samanically inhale, and with an exhalation come forward, hinging entirely at the hips, feeling that extra space in the hips, and then reach down, find the blocks beyond the fingertips. Activate your uttanasana, hitting the legs back, bringing your weight into your heels, extending the spine away, straightening the back. And then abdominal breath. If you can go down lower, then do, but not at the sacrifice of the extension. So allowing the abdomen to expand with the in-breath. Feel what that does to the hips, to the legs, to your engagement with the pose. If you can go down lower, then do, but again, not at the expense of extension. Keeping the back straight. Keeping the navel the centre of the breath. Bring your hands into your hips. Bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into Tadasana. Just lift up into the chest. Lift up into the chest. And then draw the energy back into the abdomen. So we're really focusing on the navel, but the abdomen is filling up with breath. So physiologically, when you inhale, the diaphragm muscle flattens and it draws down. It's a big muscle. It's probably, I think it's the biggest muscle in the body. When it draws down, it pushes the abdominal organs kind of forwards, and that is why our abdomen expands outwards with the in-breath. When we exhale, the diaphragm lifts upwards and the abdominal organs move back into position. So the abdomen is really ingrained in importance with the breath. So we are just grounding that breath a little by consciously drawing the action of the abdomen, allowing it to be free. And sometimes, we've got a kind of, like I say, we've got a weird relationship with our abdomens, of many of us, just culturally, really. So just to allow the stomach to bulge, the abdomen, the tummy, the belly to bulge, is liberation. So continue to breathe abdominally, maintaining your tadasana. Observing how it changes your breath. Observing how it changes your energy. Bring your arms out nice and wide in toward your chest, and then jump or step the feet nice and wide. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out. Turn the legs out. Corkscrewing those legs, especially that front leg, but don't forget the back leg. And then look up. Breathe in abdominally. Feel that there is a Catherine wheel of energy radiating from the navel down into the legs, up into the chest, into the arms. Just have a quick look down, make sure that your head is in line with your foot. Feel that the body radiates energy from the belly button in a Catherine wheel style, radiating into the hips, down into the legs, up into the chest. If you can't do it from the abdomen, from the belly button, feel that that energy radiates from the pelvis, which is a little easier to access. Reach up, come back to the center, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Take a deep inhalation and then come over to the left. Breathing abdominally, radiating energy from the navel or from the pelvis. Drawing the abdomen consciously towards the spine to accommodate the out-breath. Bring the top hand down to the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn the back leg outwards and then step back into dog down Adho Mukha Svanasana. Just focusing on that abdominal breathing. Hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Breathing abdominally. Dog down is a really good position for focusing on the breath. So just observe how it's different. Okay, step your feet forwards and come up into the standing position, coming back here up into Tadasana. Just observe how your energy changes. how it changes with each pose. Just listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation, maintaining that abdominal breath. Okay, get yourself a chair or just a lift that you can rely on, and then put that at the right end of your chair, at the right end of your mat. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to do parivrtta trikonasana. So we're going to come forwards onto the right side first, like we're doing parsva, and then you're just going to come onto the chair like this. Now, this is a kind of assisted parivrtta trikonasana. So you're going to just face the chair, lift up into the chest, then bring the right hand onto the small of the back, bring the left hand onto the left side of the chair, and then we rotate. If you want to go into the full pose, then you come into parsva first. When we do it this way, bring the hand onto the little toe side of the foot, and then we rotate that way. But using the chair is always a really nice way to give yourself space. So especially if you like kind of not sure about your back, use the chair. So lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Just focus on the breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Just bring the hands onto your hips, turn the the left toes in really steeply, and then rotate on the right foot. And then we've got to try and bring the hips level. And if we don't turn this back heel out, then this back leg, this back hip kind of gets stuck a little bit. So pick up the back heel, turn the heel all the way out, and then corkscrew these legs. That's the really important action. So the fronts of the legs turn inwards, the backs of the legs turn outwards. Fronts of the legs turn inwards, backs of the legs turn outwards. And then bring your hands onto your hips, lift up into the chest. Keep that back leg straight, keep both legs really straight, tightened at the kneecaps. And then reach forwards and find the chair. So just bring the chair in line with your foot, so you're not stretching too far forwards. Bring the top of the chair in line with the top of the foot. And then just use this first stage just to adjust your position. If your hips don't quite feel level, just address it at this stage. Corkscrewing that back leg, corkscrewing the front leg, lifting from the abdomen up into the chest. And then you're going to bring your left hand over to where your right hand is. Bring the right hand into the small of the back. And at this stage, just keep looking forwards in the same direction as you were when both hands were on the chair. Lift up into the chest, elevate the spine, lengthen into the spine, push into that back heel, and then turn the chest to face the right side. But keep those legs really firmly activated, turning the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, and then just bring both hands back onto the chair, and then step in with that back leg, and then come back to Tadasana. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing abdominally. So I didn't mention abdominal breathing, so did you forget about it? Go back to your abdominal breathing, and on the other side, consciously remind yourself to breathe from the abdomen. Okay, Just put your chair onto the other side. Just lift up into the chest, bring your arms out nice and wide into the chest, and then step or jump your feet nice and wide. Turn the right toes in steeply, the left leg and foot all the way out. And again, pick up that back heel, turn it all the way out. Corkscrew the legs. Tighten in the kneecaps, especially of that back leg. And then hinge at the hips. Feel that the hips are level. And then reach forwards. Bring the chair over the foot. So you're not reaching forwards too far. At this stage, maybe you realise you need to be a bit wider or narrower. Just use this stage to corkscrew the legs, keep the legs straight, lift up into the chest, and go back to that abdominal breath. Are you abdominally breathing into both sides of the abdomen or into one side? Bring the left hand, bring the right hand across where the left hand is. Swap the left hand, bring the left hand onto the small of the back. Feel the levelness of the hips. Before you go anywhere, extend the spine. Abdominally breathe, so bring that samanic breath in, and then with the exhalation, with the samanic exhalation, turn to the left, rotating the palm, rotating the chest, not the palm. Breathing abdominally, extending the spine, extending the legs. And then come back to the centre, and then bend that front leg, step forwards, come back into Tadasana. Just be in Tadasana, observe your energy. Breathe abdominally. Okay, move the chair out of the way. We might go back to that later. But just come back into Tadasana. Just observing how the body feels. So if you have stiffness around the hips or around the lower back, parivrtta trikonasana is surprisingly freeing. But if you do it on the chair, then it's considerably kind of safer for your back if there is any discomfort. So just continuing to breathe samanically, stretch the arms up and then reach the arms into urdhva hastasana. Breathing abdominally. And then release your arms, coming down onto your knees. Lay yourself along your front. Have your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Turn the toes in. Walk the toes towards your head a little. And then come up into dog down. So keeping the hands where they are, keeping the feet where they are. And going back to that samanic breath. Observe the freedom of the breath when we're in dog down. So from here we're going to go into rajakapotasana. If you prefer to come into rajakapotasana or if you're not sure, then come onto it on your knees. So have your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, and then just follow the rest of the instructions. So just in dog down or on all fours, just a few samanic breaths. And on an out breath, swing the right knee forwards, make contact with the right wrist with the right knee. Bring the right foot underneath the left. Fine. And then lengthen that left leg away. Push the hands into the floor, lift up into the chest, corkscrew that leg, that back leg, so that the hips are level. Breathe samanically. Bring the palms back down onto the floor, turn the toes under. Either walk that back leg in and come back onto all fours, or turn the toes in of that back leg and then push yourself back up into dog down. So either on all fours or in dog down, just observe. So if you're on all fours, you can come into dog down in between, so you can just go into the pose on all fours, go out of the pose on all fours, but then come up into dog down. Just observe how maybe the hips feel a bit uneven. So go down onto all fours if you need to. Take a deep samanic inhalation, and then on the exhalation, bring the left knee towards the left, or make contact with the left knee and the left wrist. Left foot underneath the right hip, right thigh, and then lengthen that right leg away. Tadasanaise that back leg, corkscrew it so that the hips come level. Lift up into the chest beyond the fingertips. Breathing samanically. And samanic out breath feels more natural, but try and focus also on the in breath. And then bring the palms flat onto the floor. Either go back onto all fours or turn the toes under the back leg and then come back up into dog down. From all fours, come back up into dog down. Just observe how maybe the hips feel much more even. Just continue that samanic breath. Continue the action of the legs, tightening the kneecaps, activating the thighs, lifting the fronts of the thighs up to the tops of the legs, corkscrewing the legs. All the time activating that samanic breath. Okay, bend the knees, bring your knees back onto the floor, and then sit back on your heels. Sit back on your heels and observe your energy. Observe how your energy has changed. The energy in the arms and in the shoulders and around the abdomen. Around the hips and the legs. Just how you've woken up the body. So just in virasana, I want you to, for a moment, just bring your out breath really forcefully into the udanic region, into the sinuses. So breathe out into the sinuses really forcefully. So a normal sinus in breath, and then one more. And then just back to the abdominal breath. Just observing how that flushing action brings energy into the head. Okay, just sitting in cross legs. So you can sit on a lift if necessary. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, going back to that samanic breath. Keep your eyes open. Keep the eyes still in the sockets. Take a deep abdominal inhalation and turn to the right with the exhalation. And then continuing to breathe abdominally when you're in the pose. Observe the balance of the seat bones, correct them if they're uneven. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest, take an abdominal inhalation and an abdominal exhalation as you turn. So the samanic breath connects us to our energy. And then gently come back to the center. Just come down onto your back and into supta baddha konasana. So down on the back feet together, your knees apart. Rest your hands on your abdomen and observe the breath. Consciously and uninhibitedly expanding the abdomen and drawing it towards the spine. Listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep abdominal inhalations and exhalations. So the abdominal breathing ensures that there is deep, full inhalations and exhalations. Sometimes when the chest feels unwilling to expand to its capacity, we can go to the abdomen and allow that to expand to its capacity. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Pull your knees in towards the abdomen, in towards the chest, and have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. And then grip the sides of the mat really firmly between the hands, and then extend your legs up to the ceiling, corkscrew in the legs. Keeping the tailbone down, keeping the sacrum down, but pushing the heels away from the hips, turning the fronts of the legs inwards. Bend your knees, bring your feet back down onto the floor. And then roll onto your side, sit yourself up into a seated position, and then just get a folded blanket for your head. Make sure you're in a really good straight line, so use the mat as your guide. Have the blanket underneath your head, and then stretch your arms. Just bring your arms away from the body a little. Just coming back to normal breaths, normal inhalations, normal exhalations. So pranic breaths, lung-centered. Observe the energy around the abdomen. Observe that energy radiating like a Catherine wheel from the navel down into the legs, up into the chest, up into the arms and the hands, and all the way up into the head. There's a different type of energy, a more subtle type of energy, but a powerful source of energy. Nonetheless, use the breath to distribute it. basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And the muscles of the arms and the legs completely relax. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just coming into cross legs with your hands in Namaste, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. To people, to places, to things that need our positive energy. Gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Just bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us into our day. Just very gently raise your head and allow your eyes to softly open. And focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy, giving yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.